Good afternoon, beloved community of St. Paul's. I am coming to you from my office here at the church just to give you our latest update. And as I contemplated writing one more lengthy email to you, I thought, what I really want is to talk with each one of you and assure you that in this we are together and we are with God, and that we will take it day by day and continue to be community of love and grace with and to one another. So blessings on you. I hope that you are well and finding ways of calming your heart and keeping your spirit open to the presence of God in the midst of this anxious and fast-moving time in which we are living. As you know, COVID-19 develops at an hour's notice, and the news seems to change, and new information is known. And so we are monitoring all of that right along with you and trying to be very intentional and thoughtful about how that affects how we are together here as community. So I wanted to let you know a little of the things that we're thinking about and the plans that we're making to make sure that we can continue to be community in the best way we know how, while also honoring one another and keeping our health at the forefront. So I've created a sort of question and answer sheet that I'll attach to this message. And so the first question is, can we continue to gather? And the simple answer is yes. And we want to highly encourage you to do what is in the best interest of your health. So if you are someone whose health is compromised or are of an age where being around folks who might be ill puts you at particular risk, we really want to support you and encourage you to stay home and to stay safe, and to stay in a place where you feel like you are being well taken care of. God is where you are, and we will be reaching out to you in new and different ways. But please don't feel pressure to come and be part of a community if that's not what makes sense in person for you at this time. If you are ill, we ask you to please stay home and not put others at risk of catching whatever it is you may have, and return and come back when you know that you are well and out of any risk of developing COVID-19. Here at church, we are disinfecting as fast and as often as we can. James is being particularly careful around all surfaces, doorknobs, the pews, the processional crosses, the torches, and any toys or books in the children's area that are washable are being disinfected. Those toys that are soft fabric or plush in the children's area, we're removing for the time being out of an abundance of caution. I also want to let you know that you can be with us on Facebook Live. Starting this Sunday, we will be broadcasting all of our 10 o'clock services on Facebook Live. If you're on Facebook, you can just go to the St. Paul's Facebook page and you will see us live streaming our service each Sunday morning at 10 a.m. And we hope, if you can't join us in person, that you will join us on Facebook Live, and let us know you're there by clicking a like or just sending us a word that you're out there and gathered with us electronically, until we can all be together again in person as we'd like to be. Another question is, can we have Holy Communion? And the answer is yes, absolutely. And for the time being, we are under a directive from our bishop to only distribute bread. So at the time of the Great Thanksgiving, we will have bread and wine on the table, and the chalice will remain there on the altar as a visible reminder that the body and blood of Christ is offered to all of us, for all of us, in the midst of all of us, holding us together in community. But for the foreseeable future, we will be receiving only the bread, and it is our theology and understanding that receiving in one kind is the same as receiving in both kinds, And if you don't want to receive the bread either, you can always cross your arms across your chest and receive a blessing. But we will continue to gather as long as we are able at the table for this sacrament. Can we pass the peace? Yes, we can and we should. This is a time where we are most needed to reach out to one another with words of comfort and assurance. But we're going to exchange the peace without physical touch. So no handshakes, no hugs, no elbow bumps, as it's into our elbows that we're being asked to sneeze. So we're going to keep a nice little distance between one another. Hands to our chest, nods, smiles, words of peace. Those are all appropriate and encouraged. And we hope that you will continue to greet one another with the peace of Christ in a way that is healthy and makes sense. One change that you'll notice is about an offering. Can we ask for or collect an offering? And the answer is yes. And we need to keep our ministry running smoothly as we'd like it to be. What we're going to ask is that we not pass the plate so that everybody isn't touching the plate. We'll put one plate at the front of the aisle so you can come forward and offer your offering during the offertory, but we'll also place a basket at either door so you can place it there on your way out. Whatever you're more comfortable doing is what we hope that you will do. And of course, as I say in my note, electronic giving is always sanitary as long as you're wiping down your phone screen occasionally. So we hope that you will still be able to continue to support the life of St. Paul's however you are able. Can we gather for coffee hour? You know, gathering for coffee hour, there's a joke that it's the eighth sacrament of the Episcopal Church, but it really is a time where folks who might be seeking or wondering if there's a place for them in this community might find themselves. So until we hear that we shouldn't, we're going to continue to gather for coffee hour, but we're going to keep it just to coffee and tea, perhaps some beverages, and hold off on the food items until hopefully when this is lifted. We're hoping maybe the great feast of Easter will be a good day to reintroduce all of these things that we will have been going without during the remainder of Lent and Holy Week. So no food for now, but we will still gather, and we'll gather outside whenever weather permits, and sharing beverages and fellowship as makes sense. If we hear from the town of Brookline that public buildings such as St. Paul's needs to close, we will let you know that immediately. The staff and the vestry are working to make sure that we always have the latest information. The staff is being encouraged to work from home as often as they can, particularly if they're not feeling well. They are asked not to come in and will be sent home if they're not feeling well. But until we hear from the town that we ought not to be open at all, we will continue to be here gathering for things like the Lenten Quiet Day and Eat, Pray, Work at Church, these smaller gatherings where we're more able to control the number of people that we're around. But we still ask that you be in good health and well to participate in those gatherings. You probably know that we host a preschool and the Brookline Food Pantry here. You might be able to hear the food pantry in operation behind me. I take great comfort knowing that we have these two organizations that are held to very high standards, and we are working with them to make sure that they are meeting the needs of their clients while also abiding by all necessary precautions. If you have to stay home, either because you're not feeling well or you don't feel comfortable coming and being part of an in-person gathering, we do hope that you'll call us and let us know. This is one of those times for which the church was made. We know how to be community. We know how to reach out to one another, to love one another, and to extend grace and kindness and love to one another. So if you're not able to be here, we hope that you'll let us know so that we can be in touch with you, support you in any way that we are able, and to just let you know that we hold you in our heart, even if you are not in the building with us. We also hope you might take this season to think about those in your own lives, whether part of the St. Paul's community or at home, that might need a phone call or a check-in, just a voice on the other end of the phone, letting somebody know that they're not alone, that they're not isolated, and that we're all watching out for each other. I think this is a good time for us to be the very best of who we are as followers of Jesus. So I hope you'll join me in making those extra efforts to reach out and let folks know that they're not alone. As I say in my note, not being able to be together physically does not need to prevent us from being the church. So we hope that you will continue to do that ministry of outreach and connection on your own. That's all I have for you now. If things change, we'll be back in touch. If you're on Facebook Live on Sunday, I look forward to seeing you there. If you're here in church on Sunday, I look forward to being with you in person as we navigate this strange time that we're in. I remember the words that all things will be well and all manner of things shall be well. And I hold on to those in this moment and know that together we can be both safe and practical and cautious and lift one another up in that, and also hold on to the truth that in God we will get through this together and be closer and more in connection with one another, perhaps because of this.